What is up, you guys? I must be a real YouTuber because that's how Co said all the YouTubers do it. So that's me. Okay. It's a Friday night. It's been a long week. Couldn't do anything about my hair, couldn't touch up my makeup, but what I could do and what I did do is I got this nifty little buxom lip sneak from my coat pocket because I found it in my apartment complex parking lot 6 weeks ago, and it's been sitting in my coat pocket ever since because I'm afraid it has herpes a little bit. But for this special occasion, I put on this lip sneak, and now we are ready to go. Now we are ready to be a story timer. I was thinking tonight, you know, what kind of stories could I tell? I'm not exactly a wild type girl. We're family friendly here. We're looking to get a future kindergarten teacher job. So what I did think about is that I studied abroad 2 summers ago, and you know what? Things happen when people study abroad. There's some wild stories that go on in Europe. You'd have to be there to know, but just whatever, things happen. Nothing happened to me, really. I mean, like, I might have a few more stories up my sleeve, but the first one that I wanted to talk about was worst Airbnb experience ever. It's not that dramatic, like, it's actually my fault, but I just wanted to talk about it because I think it's pretty funny what we experienced. It was pretty, like, questionable, but it's because of me and who I am in, like, the situation who I was with. I really didn't care. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Anyway, transition to that. So I arrived to Florence, Italy, where I studied abroad on a Saturday. And when I first got there, all I knew I wanted to do was go to Venice. That was the first place on my list. I was going. It's what I was dreaming about since I was a little girl, and I needed to get there. About on a Tuesday or Wednesday, when I was just like making my group, like my friends, it had been a couple days, we were talking one night and a couple of us decided we wanted to go to Venice that weekend. So we had to plan like really quickly to get there by the weekend because it was already like a Tuesday or Wednesday. So we hop onto Airbnb, we're searching for places. There's not many places available anymore because, like, hello, everybody wants to go to Venice, and it was literally 2 days before we wanted to go. Definitely not many places we could afford, but there was one gem. As we are trying to set up this booking or whatever, and we're discussing everything and like finalizing our plans, it is totally booked and we can't do it anymore. We were still going to Venice that weekend and we had no other option. So what did we do? We decided to beg. We messaged this man on Airbnb. We will call him Adam. We messaged Adam and we absolutely just beg him to let us stay in his home. We tell him that we were looking at his offer up on Airbnb and that as we were looking, it was taken away from us, but that we have literally no other option. We need to go this weekend. I think maybe we had already bought our train tickets and they were expensive because it was a high-speed train. It was like 150 euros, so it was a big deal. We were telling Adam, we will sleep on the couch, we will sleep on your floor. We don't care where it is, we just need a place to stay, you know? He was not about it at all, but we were being very persistent. This was going back and forth for hours. There was a couple of weird things that he talked about. He said something like, I need to paint the walls, or like there's paint on the walls. And we were just like, yeah, Adam, there's normally paint on walls, like it's totally fine. And then he was said, no, but there's writing on the walls. And we said, okay, that's fine. Like, you got some home decor? Are you letting us know there's a spare room? Because, like, that's amazing, Adam. Like, you have a spare room? Please give it to us. Whatever else, saying it was messy, saying, like, he wasn't prepared, whatever. He didn't feel comfortable offering up his hospitality in a situation like that. But it didn't matter to us. After really wearing him down and being really annoying about it, Adam says that we can come to stay at his place, that we won't do it over Airbnb, we can just pay him over the table, whatever, it's set. We're ready to go to Venice. We're ready to have the time of our lives. It's our first weekend in Europe. Let's go. The rest of the story is literally just to laugh about our own stupidity of begging like so much for this room when he tried to warn us, because like it truly was a bad situation, and like he really tried to tell us this is in no way Adam's fault. Adam was awesome, Adam was cool, Adam like saved our butts, but like Adam was right, we did not want to stay there. So we walk up to Adam's place. It was already an awesome situation that we could even stay in Venice, because it was like right on the canal. A lot of people have to stay outside of Venice and take a water taxi there because it's kind of a small cramped area, and it was cool enough to just be there and get to stay there and just walk anywhere we wanted. So we knock on the door. Adam answers the door. And my very first thought, this is a brothel. When the door opened, it was just a long, narrow hallway that was painted entirely burnt orange, and there was no lights on except for one dim lamp, and there was just doors lining the hallway, and it just seemed like... But whatever, Adam let us in, he led us back to our room, and honestly, yeah, like I wasn't ready for what was on the other side of the door. The walls were absolutely covered in graffiti. When Adam said writing on the walls, like Adam wasn't talking about home decor from Target that says live, laugh, love, you know? Like Adam was talking about some crackhead graffiti all over the walls, actually.
I'm gonna do this, ready?
So yeah, I had never seen anything like that, but when we walked in, we were just like, oh, writing on the walls, oh, yeah, okay. No, it's fine. No, yeah, it's fine, like, we don't care. Thanks, Adam. So he leaves us, and like, we just giggle a little bit, because we're like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Heroin, it says heroin and graffiti right on the door. But still, it was fine. The other few things we noticed when we walked in the door is there were 3 cots right next to each other. It was awesome because we weren't sleeping on the floor. Loved that for us. But there was also a can of spider poison spray right on the shelf above our beds, which like wasn't great to see, obviously, but it's fine. And then there was also just an entire like side kind of like large closet that was just filled with trash, like you couldn't even walk in it. Adam knocks on our door and he comes in and he brings us each a sheet and a towel. And so now we had a decision to make, because we were given a single sheet each and a towel each, but the cots weren't made or anything, and you know, like, you don't want to sleep on top of a bare cot. Like, this is an Airbnb, you literally have no idea who's been where, what's going on. This room already looks like, you know, where people come to just smoke crack or like shoot up heroin. Like, there's graffiti on the walls that say those words, whatever. So obviously my choice was to cover my cot with my sheet to sleep on top of, but that left me with just my towel as my blanket. And now that's not that big a deal, but I of course had to forget my pajamas. So not only was I sleeping in just under a towel, I also slept in my jeans all weekend, because that was the most comfortable thing I brought to sleep in. But still, that didn't really matter, because I didn't really sleep all weekend. The worst part about this situation was that it was infested with mosquitoes. They were getting in our heads, like making us crazy. There was buzzing in my ear incessantly. I did not sleep at all. We were all delirious, constantly sitting straight up in our beds and clapping thin air, trying to kill something but never getting anything, constantly just smacking the walls and not getting anything. You could hear them but never see them. I mean, there's worse problems, but like, it was a problem, okay? I didn't get to sleep. I woke up the next morning and I think I counted like 21 bites all over my body. I'd never been covered in bites like that. There's like 5 just on my face, all over my arms, It was gross, okay? It was gross. And so basically that was the extent of the room situation. Like, probably most people wouldn't want to stay there, but because we were like young, 19, as long as I am not on the street, I am literally so good. The part that gets me is that weeks later, 2 of our guy friends that were studying abroad with us decide to go to Venice as well at a different time from us. And because they're lazy and guys, instead of looking for a place of their own, they wanted to stay in just the place we did. And we tried to tell them our situation. You don't want to stay there. That was a last minute thing. We begged this man to let us stay there, but like, should you? Probably not. They didn't care. They went there and they had a great time with Adam. They bonded with Adam. Adam took them to a speakeasy. Adam kept them out till 6 a.m. Them on his boat, whatever. They were best friends. We weren't as close with Adam because like we were 3 girls and he was a man that we didn't know in another country. So because they got so buddy with Adam opened up to them about our stay. Our guy friends that went were telling him, yes, our friends came here, you might remember them, they recommend this place to you, and he straight up was like, why? Basically Adam was just really judging us and saying those girls were really weird. They begged me to let them stay there. I didn't want to, and finally I let them because he remembered and obviously was like aware of the situation not being great. But Adam told them that this room was in fact lived in by a heroin addict. That was his ex-roommate that he said was just absolutely crazy. He would just like lose his mind in there, shooting up heroin, and would graffiti all over the walls. Adam had to kick him out, and that was the result of what was at the room, which makes sense. Also, so that Adam can make more money, Adam's other rooms are all for Airbnb guests, and that is Adam's room. So when we begged Adam for hours to stay in the Airbnb, and he was trying to tell us it wasn't livable basically, he didn't mention that if we stayed in the Airbnb, we would literally be taking his room. Little did I know, while we were in Venice, in Adam's home, Adam was not in his home because Adam was forced to make other sleeping arrangements due to the kindness of his heart, letting us be in his own crackhead, heroin addict's ex-roommate's room that was now his room, that was now our Airbnb, that was like the worst Airbnb ever, but we were so grateful, you know? Bless his soul, Adam. I will always be grateful for him. It was a bad Airbnb, but he saved our butts from being on the literal streets. He let us go to our dream city. It was the most magical weekend ever. We stayed in Venice for 2 nights for $50 or euros, I guess. But still, like, your girl is always frugal. She will take any deal. I would do that again in a heartbeat rather than spend any more money. So that was it. That was the whole story. Shout out to Adam. He's a real one. If you ever find yourself in a situation like that, I'm just not a negative type person. That would never bother me. I just thought it was so laughable and entertaining in the moment, and it still even more is now, and I realized how much it made the trip even more special, and I don't have any regrets.